When your project is complete, you need to hand over the products or the assets or the processes that you've created to the business as usual operational team. So in this video, I'm going to look at how to transition your project to business as usual. To support your transition from the project to business as usual, you need to create a business as usual transition plan or some sort of business as usual support plan. The details of this plan, and indeed the amount of detail of this plan, will of course depend crucially on the nature of the project you're transitioning. For example, mission critical IT changes may have a hard cutover, but this will always be after extensive testing at component and system and integration and user levels. And it will usually also be supported by parallel running of the old system, so that should things go wrong, we can revert very quickly. On the other hand, if we're transitioning to a new operational customer support process, it's more likely that this will be incremental, with regular reviews of how the process is going before rolling it out more and more widely. At each step, lessons will be learned and modifications will be made, so that when the whole organization gets the new process, we can be pretty sure that it's fairly polished. Wherever your transition sits on the spectrum of different levels of complexity and criticality and different types of project, there will be some fundamentals that you expect to draw on in building your transition process. First, you will need a transition manager or an integration manager. If you think about it, the whole process has two sides. It has the project and it has the business as usual or operational side. It also has a before and an after the transition. Therefore, you need two individuals leading the two sides, a project manager and an integration manager or an operational manager, so that the project manager can hand over the project assets to the integration manager. And it's at that interface, that handover, that transition happens. And of course, the key to making the relationship between the project manager and the integration manager work is communication. Second, you will need to plan the transition. And in building the plan, you need to think about things like phasing. Do we need to do it in one go, or can we phase it? And what are our different options for phasing it? And what can we do to de-risk it, to minimize the risks of failure? And if anything goes wrong, what are our contingency plans? You may even want to do some form of pre-mortem analysis to anticipate all the things that can go wrong and then figure out how to prevent them, but also put in place those contingency plans to fix things if they do go wrong. Whatever process you go through, though, you do need to look for the kind of risk triggers, the leading indicators that things aren't working as you planned, so that you can either pull the plug or deploy your contingency plan as quickly as possible. And of course, in any plan, you need to make a budget, you need to make a schedule, and you need to allocate roles and responsibilities. And of course, there is no point in having a good plan unless you communicate it well. Next, you will need to prepare your stakeholders. You need to identify who they are and understand what each stakeholder or each stakeholder group needs from the transition, what they fear from the transition, and how they're going to engage with the transition. Crucially, you need to brief them properly and make sure they understand what their part is and what they need to be looking out for. And as always, the watchword with working with stakeholders is communication. It's also likely that your transition plan will include some element of training. And this part starts with a training needs analysis, or TNA, a process of understanding who needs to learn what in order to work effectively and efficiently in the new environment. Then you need to create and schedule the training program and develop the training materials that go with it. You'll also need to create ready reference materials to support users in the real world, because no matter how good your training is, they won't remember all of it in the real world, days, weeks, months afterwards when under pressure. Make sure that all your training materials and ready reference materials are developed to appeal to multiple modes so that all users will find them useful. And of course, good training is an exercise in communication. Next, you need to think about the handover documentation that you're going to need. These include things like operational use memos, maybe even some contractual documentation. And of course, having produced the basic documentation, to get it all signed off and transferred effectively requires good communication. Next in your planning process, think about the testing you're going to want to carry out before transition. What are the tests? How are you going to conduct them? What do the passes and fails look like? Who's going to conduct the tests? And critically, how will you know when you're ready for a safe transition? Of course, that's all about communication. And once you are ready, you will need to confirm transition readiness. Is the project ready? Is the business or operation ready? And who is going to make the go, no-go decision? How are they going to make it? And how are you going to document it? To support a good quality, robust decision-making process, you will always need good communication. Now you're ready to think about the cutover process itself. You'll have contingency plans and fallbacks, but in preparing for the cutover, you may want to do some scenario planning, some rehearsals without major problems, or some wargaming in which you introduce random major problems for people to rehearse. You'll need to put in place robust support processes to support the people working through the transition, and you'll need to make sure that you have a core list of backup people that you can draw upon. Indeed, make sure you have clear and simple procedures for accessing the key technical experts and the essential decision makers, along with an escalation route if needed. And something as simple as a call sheet taped to every computer or every wall so that everyone can make the phone call quickly when they need to. And if it's a long process, you may want to think about a duty rota or some other form of roster. You guessed it, getting the cutover right means good communication. And finally, after the transition, you need to do all the work to ensure good benefits realization. You will of course need to do a project review and performance reviews for the individuals involved, and certainly conduct a lessons learned review so that you can do it even better next time. And with the benefits of a good lessons learned review document, you need to make sure that you communicate it. I hope I've made it reasonably clear in my subtle way that communication is essential to a good transition from a project environment to business as usual. Please do give a thumbs up if you like this video. I'll be creating loads more great project management content for you, so please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of it. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.